And now, this week's edition of Big Face with your host, Samantha Jane Tilton.
Hey guys, welcome to Big Face. I'm your host, Samantha Jane Tilton, and my guest today, actor, director, and acting coach, Geoffrey Cantor, or Cantor.
Cantor. I thought we went through this already in the pregame.
I took a little risk. How's it going?
It's going all right. It's going all right. You're catching me in my my makeshift office studio place.
I love and I love that the King. Geoffrey was lovely enough to show me this fantastic picture of him.
There's a thing, I don't know where you can find it. I think I saw a commercial for it. So you take a picture and they Photoshop you into a famous painting. So this is the painting of the King of England, but with the beard. You would think I'm part of that painting.
Oh,
for sure.
100%.
And
it is so odd.
Look, like this is like, I want to say this is my great ancestor. Of course, as a Jew, clearly no Jew in the 18 or even 1700s would ever have this on. This would not be ever.
It's not our people. It's just not.
No. And it's not because it's a little gauche. It's because we would never. Moving on.
That's simple, right?
Moving on.
It may be only other Jews know that.
Thank you, Todd.
So you're looking good, man. I got to say, this beard, the nice tight haircut right now, you look great.
Thank you. So the beard's been around for a while, you know. I was visiting a friend of mine and his daughter. I've known her, but not spent a lot of time. And he was showing her my IMDb page and my reel. And so there's some stuff on my reel with like just a mustache or no facial hair. And she's the first person to say, you look horrible without a beard. Like, not just like you look good with a beard. You look horrible without a beard.
How old is she?
11.
There you go.
Going on 30. But
yes. Kids are great.
But the beard made its first professional appearance in probably back like in drama school. I had a beard in drama school a little bit, but the beard made its first official appearance in Tally's Folly that I did the play in St. Louis and where were we? St. Louis and Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park. And then it came off. And then I had a beard for Man on a Ledge, but then it came off. But then since Daredevil, so Daredevil was 2014.
Okay.
And since Daredevil, with really maybe two exceptions, the beard has been a permanent fixture on the face. And what I tell most people is the beard works. I take it to auditions or it self-tapes.
Yeah.
And as long as I feed it, groom it, and take it for the occasional walk, it gives me 10%. So, it's a symbiotic relationship, sure.
And but this is, I think, the fullest I've seen it. So whenever I've seen you come in or just in anything I see you in, this is the fullest, I feel like.
I also shaped it. Like I played a little bit because when I cut my hair, I sort of shaped it here.
Yeah.
But if you watch season 1 of Daredevil, you actually can watch it expand.
Is that right?
And by the end, it's like here.
See, and I don't remember that.
Yeah,
That's
so if
funny.
you start watching the show, it's about here. And as the show progresses, it gets longer and longer because that's what would happen if somebody didn't shave their beard.
Yeah, that's just true.
The longest it was, I wonder if I have a photo.
I would love to see that.
Let me see. So while we're talking, I'll see if I can find a photo of the longest that the beard has ever been. I did a play a couple years ago, and it was a period piece, and my beard was one long ass beard, man. Holy cow.
Oh, I so need to see this now.
Yeah. It was so big that the wind would.
That's what she said. Sorry, go ahead.
No, unfortunately, there's no direct correlation, which is a shame, because could you imagine if as your beard grew, so did other parts of you? Wouldn't
that'd be a hell of a life?
Just think the fun you could have. Don't shave your beard, honey. Don't shave your beard till tomorrow, please. Please wait till tomorrow.
That would make life so interesting.
Okay, let's see.
And I will say, so while you're looking for that, I'll tell you something funny. So in quarantine, so I have never seen Sopranos. It is only I've seen like an episode here or there when it came out. And this morning, I have woken up and started. I'm in like the last handful of episodes in 6B, and I'm seeing this guy, and I'm like, and then I'm hearing the voice, and I'm like, that's Geoffrey.
Oh, with the hairpiece?
No, wait, did you have a hairpiece?
Sopranos, I have a hairpiece, and there's a yarmulke.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But you were clean shaven.
Completely clean shaven.
And so, I'm like, but it's funny because it looked like you, but I'm not used to no beard. And then I hear your voice, and I'm like, that's Geoffrey. And it was very funny because literally it was this morning, and we already had this planned. And I was like, that's so funny timing.
Yeah, one pops up from time to time. Anyway, so I've just asked if I can share a screen with you.
Oh, do I allow you to, or do I need to give you permission?
Allow me to.
Okay, hold on.
I can then find this photo for you.
Yeah.
It's asking me.
For permission?
Zoom us will not be able to record the contents of your screen until it is quit. What?
Come on, Zoom, man. We're just trying to live.
We're just trying to live.
We're just trying to live.
Don't do this to us, Zoom. There we go. Okay, you ready?
So little to live for. Go ahead.
Here we go.
You guys ready for this?
Here we go.
I don't know if I'm ready. Oh wow.
Can you see that?
Yes. How do I zoom into that shit?
So that's
you zoom in.
That's me.
That's fantastic.
That's me. So that's the full-on beard.
Wow, man. Can you make that a little bigger?
Let me make it a little bigger for you.
When was that?
So this was 2018. Wow.
That is, first of all, that is a gorgeous shot.
Yeah, that's when my beard was at its most, that's enough. But that's when the beard was at its most.
That is so full. But what's funny is that it almost looks just as long right now because it's shaped.
Yeah, it's just not as full. It's just not as full on the side.
Outwards,
and the hair was a little longer then, and it was up in the cheeks.
Yes.
So the show I'm doing, when I go back to it, they want this divot. So it also makes the face look bigger. But when the beard is to here, if you got it, flaunt it. I was gonna say,
that's my boyfriend as well. He's like, thank God I can grow a good beard because he,
Yeah, I was also told I'm not allowed to wear an earring if I don't have a beard. Like the earring, my hip earring. See how hip I am?
You are hip. I feel like I've seen this before.
I'm so fucking hip. But without the beard, I would not be able to wear this kind of earring.
I don't disagree, man. You got to bring them both, otherwise just don't work.
For sure.
Dude, it's good to see you, and you look and sound good. How are you doing through this?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. You also look and sound good. You look and sound good.
Thank
you. This has been a challenging time. Right when COVID hit, I just finished my first episode of a show that's going to be on Apple called Foundation, and so I was in Ireland for 10 days.
Wow.
Great. And I came back, and I was supposed to go back to Ireland. I was supposed to go to Malta, and it all got pushed. So it looks like I'm probably going back to Ireland in October, the end of October. And
they're planning production?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to, I think they're going to try to start in September, and then I won't be needed till the end of October. And then there's another job that I had called Dr. Death with Alec Baldwin and Kristen Slater. And that was supposed to have filmed in May in New York. and they've also pushed that to October. So September will continue to be a lean month where I'll do other stuff, and then October, the acting, at least for an actor to have a couple of jobs lined up in this time,
that's a beautiful.
I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very fortunate for a non-famous person. The famous people are okay, but for those of us who are just working stiffs, to have stuff lined up, I'm very fortunate, very excited to have stuff that I know I have to go into. And
that's an amazing thing.
But during COVID, I've something I'd written a long time ago. We did a reading of it with my friends from like The Resident and Daredevil. Then I did a reading of somebody else's film, which was great fun. I have some other things. I do creative consulting for a few different people, and so that's been keeping me busy.
In this biz or otherwise.
So I built some websites I built a couple of websites for some actors. I do coaching for actors.
Yes.
I also am creating content for and a creative consultant for a nonprofit called Rethink the Conversation, and you can look it up, rethinktheconversation.org.
Yeah.
So I did that entire website and the logo and all the content for my colleague. She had worked for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention a number of years back and hired me to do some work for them. So that's why I got involved with her. Then I did work for her own website because she does suicide bereavement counseling. So I worked on her website, and a doctor who's giving advice, I did their website. So just staying pretty busy. And I also created an online program for harassment and discrimination training, workplace training. Yeah, called Goodbye Harassment. So I did all that, and now we're adding some elements to that. So I've been remarkably busy for somebody who has something to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because you say like for a non-famous person, and like, what you do, the career that you get to lead and live, I feel like is like, if I were to say so, like such a beautiful, happy place because you're working, you're known, respected, recognizable, but not getting mobbed. I would hope you don't get mobbed.
No,
like
don't get
Brad
mobbed.
Pitt. That's what.
Right. I am no Brad Pitt. But then again, he's no Geoffrey Cantor, is he?
That is quite true.
I have gotten recognized in the oddest places. I've gotten recognized on the street. I mean, I'd never really gotten recognized before Daredevil. I would occasionally get this. No. Right? Like that's what you get. And Daredevil has changed that to some extent. I've been recognized on subway platforms. I was with my son getting a drink, and somebody sitting at an opposite table is like, like freaking out that it's me. And
hold on, sorry, wait.
Did I just freeze?
Yeah, you froze. You said I was getting a drink with
my son.
Yes. I don't know what happened. Something changed.
So Benjamin and I were getting a drink at a bar down in the Village, and there was this, really bulked up African American guy. He sort of comes over. I'm like, and he's like, "Dude," I'm like, "Dude,
what's happening?"
He goes, "Are you Geoffrey Cantor?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he was a big fan. And a guy walking down the street with his girlfriend. Like he's in a suit and his girlfriend's all dolled up, and he's like, he's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And I like walking down the street in like ripped jeans. So that's the ego really likes that. I have to admit, my ego loves that for sure. It's clearly not why you do it. And the truth about the business is everything is, it's all interconnected, right? So the optics are that I have a career that is enviable. From a financial standpoint, it's fine. I mean, I have a house.
Thank God.
I have a picture of me as the king. But we live, we live a pretty simple, frugal life. But the business.
I was going to make a Jewish joke, but I held back.
the business appreciates and builds on success because the business is so risk averse, right? So nobody wants to take a risk with anybody or on anybody new. So to your point, I'm kind of new for some people, but I'm a new known commodity. Mm-hmm. So once people see what I've done, they are less nervous about taking a chance on me. And that's what the business is. Unfortunately, it's what the business is about as much as anything else is, who can I get who we know can do this? Because everyone is sort of, the agent is going to be a little fearful. What if I send the wrong people? And the casting director is, what if I choose the wrong people? Then the producers, so the less risk there is, the better chance you have of getting something.
I know. It's like, speaking to non-actors or people not in this industry, it's always such an interesting kind of catch-22. Like, you need to have done work to get work, but you can't get work if it's
right.
Like
and it's always been the case. I mean, that's true of getting your equity card. That was true of getting your SAG card. I do think now I've seen some people, I've had some students who have found some people who will film you not like an audition with a black screen or a gray screen behind you, but actually as though you're doing a piece. I initially was really antagonistic towards that because it's so fake. At the same time, with everything going digital, if you have an opportunity to make something look real, especially if it's a monologue, right? It's, if you're doing a Law and Order thing and you're having a conversation with Bariska and she's not there, they're gonna know. But I had a student and I gave them a speech from a TV show I had done. And we took it out of context a little bit and we tightened it up, and these people filmed her, and it looks like it's from a TV show. And so I think now with technology, I think there's I wouldn't say it's a way of circumventing the truth of it, but there's opportunities for actors to at least get seen in a way that didn't exist when I was coming up. When I was coming up, if you couldn't get in the door, you could not get in the door. There was no back door. And I think, so technology has helped a lot. I mean, that's,
helped, and I'm like,
it also,
it's a mixed bag, right?
Yeah, the field is oversaturated, but that the nature of our business has always been, going back and forth. That balance has always been the case. So,
you said a couple of things. One, when did you start acting?
Well, when I was in like third grade, I was doing like choir and stuff. I was that little skinny kid who got really good grades and got beaten up. And so I was in choir, and then I started doing plays when I was in grade school up at the high school. Our high school, Pascack Hills High School, was doing these semi-professional level play. They were unbelievable. Everybody would do them. It was the most popular thing at the school. Actually, the first show I did at the high school was Most Happy Fella, which is a musical, great musical, I think Frank Lesser. And Kathy Marath and Steve Polis had the leads. Now, Kathy Marath went on to do Pirates of Penzance on Broadway, and I think is now at either at AMDA or one of the schools, like in a teaching position. Yeah, she was this amazing talent. And Steve Polis was an opera. He had the most amazing voice ever. He died in 9/11 when he was about to leave the business world and go back to singing. But so I started doing plays up there, and then I did plays in grade school, and then I did plays in high school and community theater. But I was going to be a lawyer. Nice Jewish boy from New Jersey. Like, what the fuck else am I going to do? So I was going to be a lawyer.
Doctor of a lawyer.
A doctor, a lawyer. So I was going to be an actor, a lawyer. And when I got to Amherst, there was no pre-law. Like, you couldn't major in pre-law. Like, that wasn't a thing. So really, what does it matter? right? So it's going to be English or what? So I became a drama major. But also I did West Side Story. I did summer stock that year up in Weston.
Yeah.
And then I did West Side Story. And Len Berkman, who was the head of the drama department at Smith, sent me a letter after my performance describing my work in these sort of very actory detail. And so I declared my drama major at the end of sophomore year.
Actory detail meaning
Like he saw specifics about my work and my approach that was all intuitive for me, but from his standpoint it was like you have this is what you should be doing.
Yes.
And so then I started taking more acting classes. I took a full-on liberal arts docket. But then I went to the Eugene Theater Center. So the National Theater Institute in Connecticut is a 14-week, 10 and a half hours of class a day. It was really intense. So there was one day off when I was there. Now they have 3 days off. But it's the most intense experience, including drama school. And the teachers I was working with, I worked with Morris Karnofsky, who had been part of the group theater. He was a Meisner, Uta Ogden contemporary. I had 6 hours of class with him a week.
I was going to say, for those of you watching that aren't actors, these are big names in acting.
But names from the group theater who,
yes.
when Stanislavski, when the method was coming over to the United States, they were the ones who were interpreting it. That's why there are all these schools. There's Strasberg and Uta Ogden and
Stella Adler.
And Morris used to say, I'm teaching you the Karnofsky method. So he also had his own spin on it. But working with him, I would get the kind of feedback where you're like, I'm on a path, right? And acting really is one of the few things you can do. I know I'm biased, but it's one of the few things you can do where every part of you is activated, right? Your emotional state, your intellectual state, your physical state, it's all clicking at the same time. You have to be analytical, spiritual. You have to be intuitive, you have to, every part of you is engaged. And
if I was going to say, if you're lucky enough to be an actor and be free in your acting, and I think good acting is when all of you can be activated.
Yeah. I mean, clearly that's the goal. I mean, when I'm, that's the goal. When I coach, we don't focus on activate all of you. That's not what I do.
That's the death of it for me when I think about trying.
I'm very script centric when I work as a coach. It's all about the script, but the activity itself it's a moment to moment experience that you can't get in. There's nothing else you can do that's like it, except maybe playing sports. Right? I think playing sports has the same kind of scripted spontaneity to some extent.
Interesting.
But that's why, I mean, it's different in a lot of ways, of course. But you have set play, and then you are doing the play that you have scripted, but then all of a sudden somebody hits you from the blind side, that changes things. So you drop you're walking across the stage with a mug and you drop it. You still have to deal with that in real time, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I remember telling my parents, and this is what I got to do. And, and my parents remarkably supportive. They've seen everything I've done, on stage, and especially now, looking back, I now have a pension, I have health care, I have a house, and I was able, and still am able, without struggle, to do what I love to do, and to promote what I love to do, and to teach what I love to do.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to live a life, is to do what you love to do and love what it is you do. I mean, I'm just very fortunate. And especially now, I mean, there are doctors who are getting fired, right? They're like there's no safe job right now. It's not like any, unless you're in IT.
Yeah.
Or if you work for Netflix, Amazon, or Hulu, then you're pretty good.
You kind of set right there.
Yeah. Not as an actor, but
no.
But I started doing it young and wasn't professional until I left drama school. My first job was at a drama school, and I was a VJ for the night network.
Wow. Yeah.
Quite a gig. I have to load those pictures into my computer at some
point. I know. I was like, I wish we could share screen that. That would be amazing.
I don't think I have any of those pictures on my computer, but that was the night network. It was the first late night television program in England ever. And so
that's amazing.
Yeah. It was really, really cool. Emma Freud was on it, and who else? People famous in England were on it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was my first professional gig.
Wow.
Yeah, 1987.
Wow. Did you ever hit a point in
so old.
Yeah. It's so weird. Just for any of you, if you are watching or listening and you're young, it's going to be gone in like 3 seconds. So enjoy.
I am so fucking old, man.
Dude, I'm
old enough to be my own father. That's how old I am.
I meet 20-something-year-olds and I'm like, that kid, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just like, you're a kid. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I thought I was so old that I thought I knew it all.
No, you don't know shit.
I don't, I'm still learning lots of shit.
Yeah, I still don't know shit. I know what I know, but I know I don't know shit. So, what are you going to ask?
To know. I was going to say, through all of it, you've been a working actor. Were there times where it sounds like even that person that that was so New York of me. My brother would have just totally made fun of me. Such a Jewish Long Islander. So, when you did West Side Story and that person's the words about you, and sounds like for you, it's always been very instinctual. It's been very...
Yeah, so it started off instinctual, but then I went to drama school. I mean, I went to NTI for a semester, and then I went to drama school for 3 years in London because it was instinctual, and I realized that was a shortcoming, right? So I had the instinct and the love and the intellectual capacity, but I didn't have those other elements where you, like, what happens if you don't feel it? What happens,
right?
What can you do to enhance something? What are the learned components of this art form? It's kind of like a Venn diagram, right?
Yep.
I use that word a lot now. So it's like a Venn diagram. So you have your intuition, you have your intelligence, and then you have your will, and then you have learned skills, and it's where they all come together. That that's you need all of those elements to really to get it really clicking.
Yeah, because
so that's why I went. That's why I went to England because I was really good. I was really good at surface character work. Like I could do. I'm not a cartoon funny voice guy, but I can do tons of accents and and I was very good at being myself. But there's something about England because the pool is so small. That you have actors who are forcing themselves to find a greater range of character work that they can do. And, I'm not the chiseled chinned, muscular young man who's going to, get there on his looks. And I knew that I was not going to be the leading man. And I understood pretty early on that what I really wanted to do was discover how can I bring all the truth that I sort of feel here to a character that I have a little less in common with. And England provided that bridge for me from a skill standpoint.
It's pretty amazing. I can identify with that. Like I guess you could call it raw talent. That's always been, I've had it all in here, but then having to learn when it needs to be right now, and this exactly like this, how do I get from here to there if I'm not feeling it? So learning those tools, having the tools in my tool belt to be able to bring it all.
Yeah, it's really important, you know, and plays and film and TV are so different, right? So
Yes.
so one, like, you know, you have this long rehearsal period, and then you're on stage for 2 hours, and so that's one way of you get to release some of the head stuff because you're in the middle of, you're on that fucking roller coaster, and you've done all the prep work. Film and TV, it's, you're doing these small little moments at a time, and it's hard to sort of live through this. I mean, you're lucky if you'll shoot the scene in one. Like if they let you run the camera and they'll do a oneer for you, you're not shooting the whole fucking movie in one.
Yeah. Right.
So being able, and then you'll be doing different takes, and so being able to adjust to what a director wants, or being able to adjust to the way that the camera's going to try to frame you up, or, you know, those are all these outside external things that are not natural, and you can't pretend that they are. So you need to have the skill to, and the experience, you need to sort of exercise that part of your brain where you can take all that in, let it go, and then just talk to the person. So
it's
yeah,
the taking all that in and being able to let it go. That's like that's the interesting part.
For sure.
When I started, because I didn't study, I say this a lot when I want to talk about acting because it's part of my story, but like I was the kid, I was in every play, I was, you know, all county singing and did everything. And then my mom got sick when I was in 6th grade, and things just changed, and I stopped doing any of that stuff within me. And then she passed away when I was in 11th grade, and it was years to find my way back to life and myself. So many years. And like, so I didn't go to college for it. I studied psychology and sociology, which they're so intertwined, you know? And, but then taking that raw talent, when I finally started to study, I started learning all those tools and techniques. And I was so in my head, I was like, what's my intention? What's my moment before? Who am I talking to? And I couldn't act. I was just paralyzed. So finally getting to a place of like learning all of that with all that was there and being able to let that go and then just talk and be able to be the process.
Yeah. You know, it's an interesting thing. My favorite training did not include what's your intention, right? What it did was, what am I doing? And all of a sudden you're out of your head and you're looking at what are you doing?
Yep.
Now, intention is implied in that.
Yeah.
But if I'm having a conversation with you, but what I'm actually doing is brushing my teeth. Okay. So that informs how I'm talking to you.
Yep.
Why am I going to drop this to how important is what I'm saying? So there's all these, context is everything. And if you just focus on what you're doing, really, this is the big note for anyone who wants to train to be an actor.
Yeah.
Figure out what you're doing first. And you do it using the text. You know, whatever the writer has given you, the playwright or the screenwriter, whatever they've given you, use that to determine what the fuck it is you're doing. Done.
It's as soon as you said, I'm brushing my teeth, and it's like,
right.
So Geoffrey, just saying it made complete sense to me. It totally changes.
Right.
Everything.
I remember I was a long time ago. It was a great idea, and I hope we get to do it again, but I'm not going to give it away now, because if I ever do it again, I want to give it away. But it was a project that made a lot of sense to me. It was really early on. It was sort of a directing thing. And I was auditioning people for Romeo and Juliet. And we were discussing the scene before the nurse comes in when Juliet's mom is calling for her. And this one woman who was auditioning, I'm like, okay, stop. What's about to happen? We're about to have this big party. How old are you? I'm 40. I'm like, no. You're not 40, because how old is Juliet? 13. How old are you? You're 25, 26. So you're a 25, 26-year-old young woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're married with kids, and you're 26. You're about to go to a party. What the fuck would you be doing? You'd be getting ready for the party.
Right.
It takes a lot longer to do your hair and get your corset on back then anyway. You guys that's all you're doing today.
That's it. That's the entire.
And so all of a sudden she's sitting at a makeup mirror while she's calling for the nurse to get Juliet, and all of a sudden it's that simple.
Yeah.
It can be that simple. Right?
It can be that simple. Yeah. It's getting to but like you said, it's learning that tool of like what the fuck are you doing? Like you just said, and that's, and it's a learning process, man.
Focus, yeah.
It's amazing. What do you think it is about you? I mean, so you're easy to talk to. You're likable. I mean, sometimes I've liked you when I've met you. You're all right.
I'm relatively likable. Depends who you talk to.
What would you say has kept you working? What do you think? I mean, other than being talented, obviously we've seen that in your work. We see that, but what do you think it is that?
Oof, I don't know. I'm pretty clear about who I am. And my approach is always the same. I'm not timid about how I approach work or the commitment I'll put into it. So I treat each audition as an opportunity to do the work as opposed to get the work. So if you go in it took me a while to learn this, but if you go in saying, please give me this job, that's one kind of energy. If you go in and say, this is what I do, enjoy the show. Right? And I never focus on performance. It's always about the process and about figuring it out. And I really love doing that. That's my favorite part of this art form. But I don't go in anymore looking for jobs. I go in to share my work. And I think, I don't know, because I haven't done a poll of casting directors, but
we have. I'll tell you what we all said later.
Okay, thank you. But my understanding from a few casting directors is they love having me in because they always know they're going to get. It may not be the right thing, but they're always going to get something. So I think that that contributes. Also, I prep like a fiend. In terms of, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm just ready. I go in, I'm ready. I don't go in not ready. Right? So there's that. And I love what I do. I mean, I like auditions.
It's
So
I think, that's great. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So I love this art form. I think that carries over. I think people recognize that. Look, I'm sure I've rubbed some people the wrong way. We all do.
We all do.
There's like a lot of actors. There's a lot of Geoffrey, right? There's a lot. A
lot of Sammy too.
Yeah, and I think so people who like me, people who don't, but it's me. Right. Whatever they're getting is me. They're not getting, there's no artifice of what you see. When you see my picture, when I walk into the room, when I'm on set, it's all the same. And I'm also, so I think that's another thing. And I'm efficient. I mean, I got on set. If we're doing multiple takes, it ain't because I'm fucking up or messing up lines. It's because of something else happening.
Right.
And I mean, on Daredevil, when I was working with Deborah Ann especially, she's also like me, like this she's amazing. I love working with her, but she's like me, like a kind of an actor geek, and we over prep and we work on it together. And we do lines in our chairs and hair and makeup.
I love
and we get out there and we're done. 2 takes, 3 takes, done. Moving on.
That's wonderful,
yeah,
right?
People love that. Can you imagine you're the director or you're the whatever, like, oh my God, his acting's like this, but he's fucking efficient. That's what
he's all in. That's what I can ask for.
My gravestone's going to say. He was an actor, but he's efficient as fuck. Here lies Jeff Cantor.
But he brought it.
Yeah, but efficient as fuck.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, you just said a lot though. Like I always say this, whether I'm teaching or when I'm casting, I say, and I realize this as an actor, instead going in like, what do they want or what, I want this with that kills anything that can happen for me.
Yeah.
But when I go in, what can I give to this? What can I bring? How do I bring this to life for the purpose of that and not me, but just to be of like service to the material?
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of myself.
Yeah,
and then there's this freedom to bring instead of take.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember hearing from somebody that they were taking a class, and the class was about figuring out what casting directors want. I'm like, don't take the class.
Don't.
Because you don't know. You'll never know.
And they're all different.
Right. And if you focus on what a casting director wants as opposed to the work, you're not going to be doing the work, and you're going to be wrong. And also, no offense to casting directors, that may not be what the director wants. Right?
100%.
So being
100%
a result,
true.
Yeah, being a result, I mean, being an actor who's about results is going to be an actor who's going to have a very frustrating career. You can't worry about, do they like me? Am I doing it the right way? You got to just do the work. And if you focus on doing the work, that is the right way.
Yeah. That's everything. Whenever I'm teaching, I'm always just like, if you go into that room and you try and do it right, you try to do it the way that you think they want it, that is the death of doing anything good. It's the death of it.
Yeah.
And, I think something you said, which you kind of just said, because you said, I know who I am. And and that's who I bring to this. That's who I bring to that. That, for me, I'll speak for myself, is a huge piece of moving along in my acting and my career, is knowing who I am, owning that, and not being apologetic about it, but bringing that in the best way possible, if possible.
Right. Look, I don't think, when I say I know who I don't sort of characterize myself or caricaturize myself.
Mm-hmm.
I go in I try to be as neutral as possible so that I can do the character work that I need to do.
Yep.
But in terms of knowing that I can deliver in the room and knowing that this is what I do, is vital to your state of mind, right? I would imagine the one consistent thing for casting directors and directors and anybody is, you want an actor who knows who the fuck they are, right? Who is who they say they are, who presents, what you're getting is the real deal.
Yep.
Because then they know what they have to work with.
Yep. So
there's
a trust and a confidence.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
And there's a big difference between confidence and arrogance. I'm not saying I'm the best actor. I don't know that there is such thing as the best actor. I think that's a problem anyway. I think there's enough competition as it is.
Yes.
But I'm confident that I can act with anybody, because I've acted with everybody.
It's kind of like being able to be a human with all different people.
Kind of it's just like being a human, except better.
Except way better.
What I love is
we can do it on demand.
Yeah, what I love is no, we don't want actors. We want real people.
Yeah.
Interesting. Doink, doink, doink. Real person. I am an actor. I am a real person.
I do exist. It happens.
The reason I'm a pretty good actor is because I'm a real person, and I bring that real personness to bear on my acting.
It's a crazy business, man.
Crazy.
I'm happy for you that you're doing it. And I'm sorry that Corona took you out of the projects that you're doing, but I'm so happy to hear that.
It just postponed them.
Yeah.
Postponed them. I'm very lucky.
And I'm sure, and knock wood, it sounds like things will be picking up, God willing, as of October.
Yeah, for sure.
That's lovely to hear from my ears as well.
Yeah, and there's like little bits and pieces that are coming out before then. So I had a small part in American Pickle with Seth Rogan. So I show up in that. There's a movie coming out on my birthday, October 30th, called
Happy
Blackjack, the story of Jackie Ryan. I played Peter Vesey in that.
Awesome.
I did a couple of short films. One's in a festival. You know, so and that's the other thing about what we do, right? So you shoot something 3 years ago, all of a sudden it shows up. You're like,
I know.
So,
it's amazing how that happens.
yeah, but there's enough, you know, there's enough out there that that no one's going to forget it. I mean, I'm sure some people forget about me, but
I'll never forget you. You're a real mensch.
Oh, thank you. I know you just
No.
squeezed your own cheek, but
I know. I was like, hee, hee, hee. You really are. You're a real mensch.
Thank you.
You are. And I'll let you go do some stuff, but I have another question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
So there's a portion of my show, and it's called "The Feather in Your Cap."
Mm-hmm.
And by feather in your cap, I mean a success or an achievement or something that you've learned that may help you in the future, or that has maybe already paid off to help you. And I wanted to know if you have one.
In the business?
Anything in life.
Whoa.
Could be business related, but something
Well,
that maybe could help others.
All right. So I don't know that this is a feather in my cap, but I bring this up occasionally. My grandfather on my mother's side was a colonel in the army. So he enlisted in World War I, and then between the wars rose up the ranks a bit more. And by World War II, he was a colonel. By the end of World War II, he was a bird colonel. He was the highest ranking Jewish officer in the United States Army, actually, at the time.
Wow.
And yeah, he was an amazing man, and like sort of the first of the great men in my head. Like there was something awe-inspiring about him. And I remember him saying to me once, if somebody asks you to do something, say yes and then figure it out. And I mean, he told me that when I was young enough for it to stick. So I don't know if that's a feather in my cap, but that really stuck with me. And I think I've tried to live by that, and sometimes to one's detriment. Right? When you say, yeah, I can do that, and then you can't, but it turns out 9 times out of 10, anything I've said yes to is something that is certainly within my skill set to accomplish. And it's paid off. You know, I think that's my favorite piece of personal advice. The other was from Mars Karnofsky, who said, Nietzsche might be really interesting, but you wouldn't invite him to your Christmas party. Because he wouldn't be any fun. So also good advice, don't invite Nietzsche to your party.
Great feathers right there.
Yeah. So 2 different forms of advice, but I think Morris was right. I mean, it's not really something it's not a model you can test out because Nietzsche's right.
But I'm sure we all know a Nietzsche here and there. So.
We all got a Nietzsche in the closet.
Good pieces of advice. I love it.
All right.
Those are great feathers. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure. This was great fun.
Yeah, it was really, it's lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Yes. And so guys, thank you for tuning in. And
nice to see you all. Virtually.
Yeah, I'm sure you're very happy. I know. And yeah, so, you know, like, rate, subscribe, any of that good stuff you want, if you want to see some more of us. And Geoffrey, you're awesome, man. Real mensch.
Thank you. Thank you. And you can find me, just so you know, so
yes.
Twitter is Mr. G Cantor. No, Instagram is Mr. G Cantor. Twitter is Jeff Cantor. Facebook is Geoffrey Cantor. And my website is geoffreycantor.com.
And just so you know, in case you didn't quickly write that down, you don't have to keep pausing it. I will write this information with the episode also, guys. So
there you go. All right.
So you will not be forgotten.
Thank you. All right. Bye. It was
All right. Bye.
Really great pleasure. Have a nice day.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.